Om Shanti, good morning. So today we'll cover the second half of the Murli, which we covered yesterday, which was originally spoken on 9th December 1989. And the topic of the Murli was the method to become YogYukt and yuktiYukt. And in the part we covered yesterday, Baba spoke about him seeing two types of children, one who are constantly YogYukt and yuktiYukt, and the other are those who are yogi souls, but neither constantly YogYukt nor yuktiYukt. And Baba says being YogYukt and yuktiYukt is what makes this Brahman life very unique. And Baba gave us yukti on how to be yogyukt. Baba says the more you are detached from the body, the more yogyukt you will be. And so Baba said to have the awareness that I am the charioteer, the one who uses this chariot, the body. And this was what even Father Brahma used to keep reminding himself and be in the awareness that I'm a charioteer. So for Brahma Baba, it was this that the soul is the charioteer of the body, but plus Shiv Baba coming and also being the charioteer who uses his body. So with this awareness and with this checking, Baba said, every now and then check, am I the charioteer, the one who is in full control of the senses of the body, be it the physical senses or the subtle senses? Because the charioteer is the one who holds the reins to the sense organs, which are depicted as horses. So I have the authority to decide what is the direction for the sense organs and also for my thoughts and actions. So Baba says, when we are YogYukt and yuktiYukt, then our sense organs are in control, and that's when we can prevent ourselves from being attacked by Maya, because how Maya attacks us, she influences us from one of our sense organs. So to have that awareness, and then Baba was speaking about teachers, that teachers have to be number one in following the Father, and not number one out of jealousy, but number one in commitment towards the spiritual path, to be Arjuna, the one who takes the initiative. Just like Father Brahma was number one in following Srimad. And so Baba says even the teachers, the instruments, should have that determination to be number one in following Baba, and to always have the awareness that I am the instrument for many souls. So Baba said, no matter what actions you may be performing, it could be giving a lecture or it could be washing dishes. So no matter what action, always to have this awareness that I am the instrument to serve many, and to always have elevated thoughts, which then make the actions itself very elevated. So we'll now cover the second half of the Murli, and this is a continuation where Baba is speaking to the teachers. So Baba says, you are sitting at the front. So during the Milan, the teachers are sitting in the front. So you like sitting at the front. And so how beautiful the experience of constantly moving ahead would be. So whenever such strong sanskaras try to make you move backwards, remember the scene. So Baba says, remember the scene where you are sitting in front of Baba, and whenever anything is trying to push you backwards, just remember you are the ones who sit in the front. Since you like sitting at the front, why should you remain behind when it comes to moving forward? So when any situation arises, reach Madhuban and put courage and enthusiasm into yourself, because many of those who are to remain behind will come later. If you remain behind, then those who come later will have to be brought forward. Therefore, always maintain the consciousness that you are those who will stay at the front. So Baba says, visualize the scene. You are in Madhuban and you're right in front of Baba. And no matter what, in effort, in everything, Baba says, we have to be in the front, not the ones at the back. So therefore, maintain the consciousness that you are those who stay at the front. To stay at the back means to become subjects. You don't want to be part of the subjects, do you? So they are here to be kings, not subjects. So you are Praja Yogis, you're not Praja Yogis, you are Raj Yogis, are you not? So follow the Father. Acha. Now Baba speaking to the double foreigners. What will double foreigners or foreigners do? You will follow the Father, will you not? How far will you reach? Will everyone come to the front? Acha, let those who have come follow the Father and move fast and become first. Don't think that only one will come first. There will be many in the first grade, will there not? Brahma will be first number, but you will remain his companions in the first grade. So the number one spot is taken. It's Brahma Baba who will be number one. But Baba says the first number grade or the first number division, we can definitely claim a position there. So when Baba says become number one, Baba is talking about the first division or the first grade. Therefore, claim the first grade. There won't be just one who is first. There will be many in the first grade. Therefore, don't think that the first number has been finalized and that you will therefore only be the second number. Do not become the second grade. That's the second number means second division. So Baba says, do not become that. Those who take responsibility are Arjuna, number one. So those who take the initiative, again, I first in whatever Baba says. So to be Arjuna means to be the first number. Everyone has a chance to come first. Everyone can be part of the first. It is unlimited. The first grade is unlimited. It is no less. So Baba says, many can go in the first grade. So it is no less. So all of you will come in the first, will you not? Are you sure? Acha. To those who follow Father Brahma, to those who constantly remain YogYukt and yuktiYukt, to those who always become a charioteer and make the sense organs move along the elevated path, to those who constantly remain close to the destination To all such elevated souls, Bab Dada gives love and remembrance and says Namaste. Now Baba is meeting the groups, the indoor group. You have the experience that Bab Dada's elevated directions have enabled you to attain the elevated state of salvation, do you not? So these directions help us attain salvation. As the directions, so the salvation. Baba's directions are elevated. And so the salvation you receive from that would also be elevated, would it not? It is said, as your final moments, so your destination. Why has this been said? Means what you think at the end before leaving the body, then that's where you go. So Baba says, why has this been said? Because Baba only comes at the end of the cycle and gives elevated directions. So now Baba comes, and if we remember Baba at the end moments, then yes, we pass. If not, then Baba says we fail. So Baba says, so we receive, Baba comes at the end of the cycle and gives elevated directions. So at the final moments, you take elevated directions and you receive salvation for many births. The unlimited final thoughts lead you to your destination of the present time also becomes elevated. So the memorial of this time continues on the path of devotion. With the elevated directions of one birth, you receive elevated salvation for so many births. So we follow Baba's direction for one birth, and for so many births, then we receive salvation. There is no sorrow, no suffering, happiness. So all memorials are of this confluence age. Why have the memorials been created? It is because you perform actions at this time while staying in remembrance, and every action has become a memorial. So we stay in remembrance of Baba and we perform every action. And then Baba says, then that action becomes a memorial, and then that memorial is then becomes part in the path of devotion. So you wake up at Amrit Vela as a discipline. So the images of your memorial are also awoken as the right discipline. So in the temples, they open the doors of where the idols are kept and they start praying. So Baba says they are woken with the right discipline. People awaken them with so much love. They are non-living images, but yet people awaken them with so much love in their heart. They awaken them, feed them, and also put them to sleep, because you do all of this with remembrance as a discipline at this time. So again, Baba is saying you do everything in remembrance of Baba as a discipline, and then that becomes a memorial. You eat with the discipline of the right method too. You eat after offering bhog, do you not? Or do you eat it just like that? So Baba is asking, do we offer Baba before we eat? It isn't that because you have to feed someone quickly, you don't offer bhog. And sometimes we skip it maybe because we have to give someone food quickly. But Baba says, if you have to feed someone before time, then you must definitely take out a share first. It shouldn't be that you feed someone first and then offer bhog. By eating with the right method, you attain success, you become happy, and you easily have constant remembrance. So right method is again the yukti, and the yukti here is you have to first offer to Baba before giving it to someone else. So Baba is again reminding us that the more we perform our actions as per Srimad, as per discipline and remembrance of Baba, then that it becomes elevated, that becomes a memorial on the path of devotion. So Baba says, if you do it in the right method of offering bhog and then eating, you will attain success. You will become happy, and then even remembrance will become constant. So, from Amrit Vela till night, whatever actions you perform them with the discipline of remembrance. Only then will you be successful in every action. So the action becomes elevated and successful. Success means you will continue to receive the instant and practical fruit of every action. Means when you receive the instant fruit, which is happiness, lightness, easiness. So the greatest success of all is to experience super sensuous joy in the form of instant and practical fruit. That means you performed an action and it instantly made you experience super sensuous joy. That becomes your instant and practical fruit. You will then constantly continue to move along in the waves of happiness and joy. You first receive instant practical fruit and then the future fruit. So now, Baba says the supersensuous joy is our instant practical fruit, and then, of course, the future fruit of the kingdom. The instant and practical fruit of this time is more elevated than the fruit of your future births. If you don't eat the instant and practical fruit now, you will not receive instant fruit throughout the whole cycle. If you're not experiencing happiness now, super sensuous joy now, then Baba said, then it won't even come throughout the cycle. You do something now and you instantly receive the fruit of it. This is known as instant and practical fruit. The fruit you receive in the golden age will also be from this birth, not from another birth. However, whatever fruit you receive now is instant and practical. That is, it is the fruit of the present time. So our actions give us instant practical fruit as well as a future fruit. So do not remain deprived of instant and practical fruit. Always continue to eat the fruit. It's not like we are doing service and then getting burdened or heavy, but doing service in remembrance of Baba brings immense happiness, lightness. So Baba says that becomes the instant fruit. And then, of course, we even accumulate for future. So you enjoy this practical fruit, do you not? Do you ever think you would have such fortune? You never even dreamt that you would receive fruit from God. if something you never ever even dreamt of or thought about happens, you experience so much happiness. So we never dreamt of Baba coming and teaching us, and we belonging to Baba, studying with the Father, and then claiming our inheritance. So Baba says, we never dreamt of this, but now it has happened. So you should be experiencing so much happiness. Nowadays, when people win a lottery, that is only temporary, but they become so happy. Whereas this instant and practical fruit becomes the fruit for the future. So you have this intoxication, do you not? It is not sometimes less and sometimes more, is it? So the intoxication of being with Baba and receiving the fruit. So Baba says, constantly continue to fly in a constant and stable stage. However, have you learned how to fly in a second? How to be light? Or does it take you longer? If your speed is your speed so fast that as soon as you have a thought, you reach there. Yeah, as soon as we think about Papa, home, we can be there. So all of you from indoor, are you all content? You're all content, are you not? Mothers, are you always content? You never become discontent with your Lokik family, do you? Do you ever get fed up? Do you get fed up with mischievous children? Never get fed up. The more fed up you get, the more trouble they will cause you. The more we get fed up, irritated, the more we know it happens. Therefore, be a trustee and do service as a server. And so, like Baba says, be an instrument and always have the awareness that we are instruments to serve many. Yeah, so to show the path to many, here Baba says, be a trustee. And trustee means claiming no ownership of anything, which Baba often says is renouncing the I and my. So therefore, be a trustee and do service as a server. When you have the consciousness of mind, you become fed up. So Baba is also telling us the reason why we get fed up is because we become attached in this consciousness of mind. My child, and this is what he is doing. So where there is consciousness of mind, you become fed up. And when you have the consciousness of yours, tera, you begin to swim, terna, to swim. So beautifully Baba has rhymed here. If you have mera, my consciousness, then we begin to get fed up and we drown in waste thoughts, negative thoughts. But the moment we say tera, it's all Baba's, that's when we begin to swim, terna. So you are those who swim, are you not? Always to say yours means to maintain your self-respect. So this is a nice point to remember when it comes to self-respect, because we practice points of self-respect, but also to remember that everything is Baba's, yours is also maintaining self-respect. To say mine means to become arrogant. To believe yours means to maintain your self-respect. So to stay constantly in your self-respect means to remember to have the consciousness of yours. Always remember this, Acha. So, how to maintain self-respect? Baba says, everything is Baba's, yours. And when you say yours, we swim. We are able to go past the situations and not get stuck and come to a standstill. Double foreigners are also long lost and now found. There are a few of you. Can you describe how much happiness you have? Baba is unlimited. And so the attainment you have is also unlimited. Therefore, you cannot count anything of limited. Bapdada is pleased to see the double foreign children with the speed of intense effort makers. The people of Bharat know about the things of Bharat. However, you people don't know, and yet you have become so close and have become intense effort makers. And so you have performed wonders, have you not? So people of Bharat have the advantage of knowing a lot of things which is related to the culture of Bharat. But Baba says the foreign double foreigners, they don't, but yet they come so close and they perform wonders. So you have become double lucky. What intoxication do the people of Bharat have? That they will become the eternal people of Bharat every cycle. And when Baba says people of Bharat, the ones who are residents of the golden silver ages of heaven. So we have the intoxication that we will be residents every cycle. You have the intoxication that the imperishable land is Bharat, do you not? Everyone has his own intoxication, and the intoxication that Baba comes in Bharat. So Baba says, everyone will have to come to Bharat, whereas you are already sitting in Bharat. Acha. Now we have the blessing. May you become free from body consciousness and stay stable in your self-respect, and thereby receive regard from the world. So one thing Baba said about self-respect is that everything is Baba's, and that's how you maintain self-respect. And Baba is also saying here, when you maintain it, you are stable in that self-respect, you become free from body consciousness. So the main aim of the study is to remain beyond body consciousness and become soul conscious. The method to become detached and free from this body consciousness is to remain constantly stable in your self-respect, is to really know yourself, who you are in the true sense, what Baba says and not what I interpret. So whatever Baba tells me, if I can hold on to those thoughts and this is who I am, then Baba says we remain stable in our self-respect. So Baba gives us so many titles. If we can just remain aware of them, remind ourselves of them, then Baba says we become stable in self-respect. So by your becoming stable in any one of the many types of self-respect of the confluence age or of the future. So now we get titles, and of course in future we are becoming deities. So if we can just remain aware of that, Baba says body consciousness will continue to finish. Those who remain stable in self-respect automatically receive respect. So when you know who you are and you live with that true awareness, Baba says, then you receive respect from others as well. So those who always maintain their self-respect become the world emperors, and the world gives them regard. The slogan is, to be able to mold yourself according to the time is to become real gold. So it's the power to adjust, the power to accommodate. Baba says if you have this power to mold and to work with sanskaras of others, to be flexible in your nature, you are a real gold. Acha, Om Shanti. Let's have a moment of silence together. Om Shanti. Would you like to share what touched you from today's Murli? In the chat, it says, elevated directions enabled to attain elevated salvation. As your final moments, so your destination. So from Amrit Vela till night, whatever actions you are performing, perform them with discipline of remembrance. So like Baba said, anything that is done in remembrance, discipline, then that becomes a memorial, and then that is what happens in the path of devotion. So Baba gave example, we offer bhog to Baba, and we do it with discipline. And then the path of worship too, path of devotion, they offer bhog to the deities. We wake up early in morning at Amrit Vela with discipline. And even then the deities the non-living idols are awoken during morning with a lot of love. So what we do practically now in the confluence age is then what is done as a ritual or a custom on the path of devotion. Anybody would like to share?
The Baba spoke about when you are in the consciousness of I is when you get drawn. But put everything to Baba, and that's where you will sail through. So that's a point, a very powerful takeaway, is to transform everything from Meri se Tera, if we speak that in simple Hindi. The thing is mine. I'm here as a trustee. Everything is Baba's.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah.
one point of the Murli. And then towards the end, Baba speaks about the power of accommodation when he speaks about the sanskar within, how much the soul has this power of accommodation, how much can they accommodate different sanskaras of the souls and don't get carried away or disturbed by it. It keep my stability by imbibing the power of accommodation. That was the second point of the body that touched me today. Shanti.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And when it comes to power to accommodate, which is what Baba said today, to mold yourself, Baba says you really need to have this quality of being merciful. When you have this quality of being merciful, you will automatically not be drawn by the weaknesses of others, but to really feel from within that they are lacking power, and Baba has bestowed me with power. I have um, I have the authority or the right to claim all powers from Baba and then donate that to others. So once Jayanti Didi was mentioning that she had asked Dadi Janki that, that so many souls come and take the course and they come in contact also. But how do we identify the true Brahmins, true Baba's children from so many who come to take the course? And Dadi, as usual, she goes in silence before she answers any questions. So she did. And then she gave the answer that a true Brahmin will always be merciful and has the quality of mercy within. So if you see, that's very true because, when we see the sanskaras of others, and not to have conflicts with that, but to really have mercy. Because Baba says you may tell someone to do something which is good for them, but they may not do it. And that is because they don't have the power or the strength to do it. So we have to be merciful and understand they don't have the power to do that and donate that power to them, which is by seeing their specialities, giving them good wishes, keeping them under Baba's light. So that quality of mercy really is what enables me to then be more accommodating to situations and souls that are involved in situations around me. So to have really that molding nature comes from being merciful. And like how Baba said, yes, that everything which is mine, what we would say in body consciousness, is Baba's. So trustee also means to be the one who owns nothing, is just there to take care of what is owned by someone else. So here too, Baba says everything belongs to Baba. Even Baba reminds us this body is also not yours, it's been given to you for service. So the more I remember that and the more I give it to Baba that this is yours, the more lighter I will feel. And Baba said, we get fed up because of the consciousness of mind, because the mind brings expectations that they are my children, so they should behave a certain way, my Lokik family. But when we say it's they're Babas, they have their own sanskaras, they've come to play their own part, then Baba says you are detached, and that then allows you to swim through the different situations and the sanskaras we encounter.
Om Shanti, Sneha Ben.
Om Shanti.
If suppose you've got time, because I think yesterday we were, when we spoke about the main title of the Murli, Rajyoga, YogYukt, yuktiYukt, and of course we also saw, only when you are aware of the Rajyoga, Baba spoke about the solution to attain that was Sarthi and Sakshi. And yesterday, actually, we were discussing about that Sarthi. Actually, then in one of the Murli, I just found Baba mentions it as Sarthi, Sakshi, and Sati, like the companion. So when the word Sarthi, even, it came only from the Gita. Like Krishna was called as Partha Saradi. That is Sarati to Partha, which Arjuna was called. So the word Sarthi came from there. And if you even read the what we say, the significance of the Mahabharata, we will see that how Krishna chose Arjuna in the war, and he only steer his chariot. See, for the God himself, if we know the Mahabharata, we'll know Krishna was only an avatar of Vishnu, and he comes down to teach some lesson, which is what the Mahabharata, God came down in various forms to give various teachings at various times. So in this time, he wanted to guide through Arjuna. That's why Baba always says, be Oteso Arjun, become Arjuna. He wanted to advise him whenever he had a tough decision to make or whenever the fierce battle. And a Sarthi never raises a weapon. Krishna never raised any weapon to face, but he helped him to understand decision making. So, taking that corollary, I was just saying in today's Murli, Baba was saying, Sarthi is the one who is like a Nimit. Sarthi is the one who can control his thinking, his manmat, and it's only based on the Srimati works. Sarthi is the one who can control all the sense organs. And if any one sense organ is affected, but taste to eat something, we will see all other sense organs gets affected. That's a Sarthi. So Sarthi's role is service, guidance, and protection. And for that, Baba says, if you want to be a good Sarthi, you have to be an observer. Krishna was more an observer. Only once he entered into that action, when he bent down and asked Karna for that part of the blood from his heart, because that only stopped Arjuna from winning the war. Otherwise, he was always a distant observer. So Baba says, if you really want to do a good work as a Sarthi, as a charioteer, then you have to be a detached observer. Observer to the self, observer to others, and observer in the drama. For all this, you need Sati. That what is called as a companion. Only when you hold him. So these are the secrets which really will help you to have yukti in yog, and yukti even in your actions. YogYukt and yuktiYukt. So I just wanted some more things that suppose you can add on this, Sati, because I don't know whether it's Sati is borrowed from the Gita, but I feel it's more as role of Krishna over there. But here we say where the role of Shiv Baba. So can you add some more thing if suppose there is time, something more on this Sarthi, Sakshi, and Sati. Om Shanti.
I think you already explained it pretty well. Um, and all I would just um, go along with what you just shared, that um, that practice of being a charioteer, again, it's a soul conscious practice. The more I remember who I am, and the more there is detachment from the body, And yes, like you mentioned, that detachment, and then you observe things, but you observe things in a detached way without coming into any influence. And that again will happen when you have the power which you get from your companion, which is Sati. So, yeah, those are three powerful words that will enable you to be YogYukt and yuktiYukt. And it's just how we practice it more and more. And like Baba said yesterday, that awareness that I am this charioteer and this body is the chariot. So then and again reminding ourselves that we are separate from this body, even though we are in the body. And when that awareness starts to become strong, there's a sense of detachment that comes. So the first thing is to be detached from the body. Only then we can detach ourselves from others and situations and just observe without being influenced. So I think you shared it very well. And if there's anyone who would like to share more on this, feel free to. It just fit very nicely. And also, now when Baba spoke about Arjuna, and Baba was then telling the teachers that whatever you do, always remember you have to be the first one to do it. When it comes to following Baba's directions, because Baba's directions are, like it says, it's elevated and it brings about elevated salvation. So Baba just gave them a visual that you are sitting in the front and you like to sit on the front, in the front. So in the same way, when it even comes to making effort, always remember you have to be in the front and not get caught up by any storms. So if any situation arises, just take yourself to Madhuban. Just remember you are sitting in front of Baba, and that gives you the enthusiasm to move forward with courage. And move fast and be first. And then when Baba said be first, Baba spoke about first division, first grade, where Baba says there are a lot of seats in the first division, if not the first number soul. So there is always that margin of making intense effort and coming into that first division. And yes, every action is done in remembrance. It will become a memorial. So, and Baba said, in this Brahmin life, we have to eat instant and practical fruit. So, whatever I do, if I've done as per Srimad in remembrance of Baba, then I will get instant and practical fruit of it. I will feel very happy. That's the first fruit we claim, and then Baba said it should be super sensuous joy, not just happiness, but really the feeling of bliss. And then Baba says it brings easiness, it brings lightness, it lifts our burdens. So we have to keep eating instant fruits in this birth. And not that what we're doing will be rewarded in future, but we're getting rewarded instantly of what we do in remembrance of Baba. So to have that instant and practical fruit is what gives us strength. So Baba also reminded us that do everything in YogYukt and yuktiYukt way, and you will experience and receive these instant fruits. So, yes.
And you know why I asked you, if you see a little kind of, where one gets confused, that first paragraph, Baba saying, who is a charioteer? He's saying the soul is the charioteer. And Brahma Baba always thought that the soul is the charioteer, but he's saying even Shiv Baba became the charioteer of Brahma when he entered his body. So that was just a demonstration. So I used to think that means what is Shiv Baba, the Sarathi of Brahma Baba? Because he's saying, Baba is saying in this Murli, the father became the charioteer. So, and then he says he just demonstrated it. So that means we have to become like the father who was Sarthi of Brahma but was never attached to the body of Brahma. He made that body subservient. So those people who make the bodies up. So he's saying that example we have to take of Shiv Baba, who was Brahma's Sarati and made the body subservient, and how then he gave the gyan and all. So that was one thing which was really like for here. That means just because Shiva, Vishnu in the form of Krishna was the charioteer to Arjuna, so here our first Arjuna is Brahma. So here there Krishna, here Shiv Baba says, I am the charioteer to Brahma. So it was that sentence really which made me think. That's why I ask you from the Murli. Because so the charioteer is who he just comes, does his work and goes. But Baba just gives one example. So I have to follow Shiv Baba and to see कैसा उसने ब्रह्मा का बॉडी को चलाया, how he never allowed Brahma to think at all anything, to just follow what is. So because we know the story of Brahma, every time he'll say, "Oh, what do I know? I don't know how it happened. He came, he said, and I just followed." So subservient was the body when father was there. That it was that one paragraph, and that in the beginning, which made me think. So how can I be the charioteer? I, Girija, be the charioteer to this body? Because how do I follow the father's example? That was why I asked a little exploration on that one sentence or one example which father gave. That's the thing, Sneha, then.
Right. And yeah, like you mentioned, it's all about being detached from the body and to use the body and not get influenced by the body that you're using. So yes, that's why Shiv Baba gave that example. And Baba says now we have to practice that with the body we have, that use it, but not become subservient to it. Yes. All right. So we can move to meditation. So just step within. And come to this awareness that you are a trustee. And you have been entrusted this body for service. Everything belongs to Baba. Nothing is mine except Baba. When I change the consciousness of mine to yours, to Baba's, I remain light and detached. And this enables me to be in self-respect. Whatever Baba says, I am the first one to follow that. My every act is with discipline and in remembrance of Baba. And every act becomes a memorial. I receive instant and practical fruit of the actions I perform in remembrance of Baba. I am moving forward. And when anything happens, I take myself to Madhuban, sitting in the front with Baba, which gives me the courage and enthusiasm to move forward. I am the one who belongs to the first grade, close to Brahma Baba in all births of the cycle. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Babas. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a beautiful day.